right, we are back after a little winter break. Barcelona struggling across a few different matches. So I'm here with Pablo and Buga. We're going to be discussing the recent results. We'll be giving our opinions, our thoughts. And this is also an opportunity for you to share your thoughts. Make sure you leave your comments. We'd love to hear from you. Ask your questions. Give your opinions. Drop a like. Make sure you share it. All those good things. Yes, I'm getting a round of applause from the boys to start things off. All right, Pablo.
Amazing. Amazing that's the first time we've ever done it. And that's a new year. New episode, new year. New year, new Mascum podcast. But
yes,
new
indeed.
Year, same Barça.
That is the theme, isn't it? New Year,
yes,
same Barça. But we're getting a little bit better here on this podcast, and we do appreciate all the support and the participation in the conversation, like we said. So, yes, indeed. Let's jump into things. Maybe here's maybe how I want to start, right? Because since our last podcast, we've had 3 matches. One of them a friendly, right? And we've had 2 others. So give me in as few words as possible, like one sentence, what is standing out in your mind right now for Barcelona? I'm going to go Pablo and then Buga, and then we'll jump into things.
Trying to keep things really short, just as a starting point. I just think everyone's worried about the fact that, for me, it feels like we're regressing massively, or we have regressed massively from last season, and that collectively, individually and tactically, we're worse off. And I think there's a consensus amongst the fan base that this looks like it will be a trophyless season. I think we're in a really worrying spot, is what I'll start with, and then I'm sure we can delve into that.
Yeah. Buga, where are you at with things?
I think it's the same Barça, like we were talking about it. We're regressing, no roadmap. I mentioned that before. And I also see individually the level of most players are going down. Like Frankie de Jong has kept things the same way, Araujo as well, but Rafinha, we're talking about Lewandowski, even Pedri, Gavi, who they have been having injuries. They're nowhere at the same level they were last season. So that's affecting quite a lot of the team, but we're going nowhere.
Yeah. Inconsistent. Not even just match to match, but now within one match, one half to the next, we can see a drastically different Barcelona. Very frustrating to watch right now. Too much talent to be having the results that we're having right now. So specifically, I mean, we're talking about 2-1 win over Las Palmas, 3-2 win over Barbastro. What league does Barbastro even play in? How far down are they?
Fourth
division.
Yeah. For me, there's a fact with this game that tells you how far Barcelona have fallen down. But equally, I feel we've fallen down quite a bit, but we can come up faster than maybe people anticipate. Because I feel if you make a mistake that drops you this quickly, means that it's not as deep as something that needs to be reverted as harshly, as intensely. Like when we talk about the teams with Bartomeu, and why the hell was Bartomeu in the game? I don't know.
I thought I saw that. They didn't say it on the commentary, but I thought I saw that sneaky man in there.
Yeah, he was there, man. He was there. And the commentator casually mentioned him, and I was like, if I'm next to him and I'm Barca fan, I'm literally kicking this guy out the door.
Yeah. Booger, were you watching it in Spanish or English?
Yeah, in Spanish.
Okay, English commentary didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Not to throw shade, but I wonder if the English commentators even knew who the camera was on.
Who did you have? John? Did you just have a single commentator, John?
Was he just? I don't even remember.
Was he just on his own?
Did he
two. Oh, did you have 2? Okay, I just had a bloke.
Yeah, it was 2 guys, but it wasn't any of the big notable names.
No.
Well,
anyway,
anyhow, going back to what I was saying, it's a problem that we have fallen very quickly. But if that means that the problem is not that inside the team, it's not that ingrained in what we've been building. It's more something, I guess, more superficial tweaks here and there. I think that's something, but still worrying, right? But the fact is that in 20 games in a streak, we haven't been able to win for more than one goal.
Yeah.
So that's where it's worrying when you're taking a look at a team like of the fourth division, right? So
Yep.
I'm not
You got
quite
one
sure
clean
whether
sheet in the last 10 matches.
yeah. I don't know if it's quite a problem of the defense, a problem of the attack. Are we just missing chances? We're not accurate. We're making too many mistakes. What do you think it's happening? Because like we've been always trying to point down to the roadmap, this and that. But like, come on, you having João Felix, Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Gundogan, Frankie De Jong, you should be able to just at least score the goals and keep a clean sheet.
Yep. Pablo.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, I could actually be here for 20 minutes, so maybe you have to stop me. I think problems all over. Like, let's start.
We'll cut you off as needed.
Yeah, let's start at the back. For me, Iñaki Peña has a problem in goal. I'm going to say that. I think he exuberates nervousness in the back line. He doesn't claim anything. He stays on his goal line. He's a problem for me.
Yeah.
And I'm always been a big Ter Stegen fan, but bloody hell, I miss the German wall because the Berlin wall. I miss it. But Iñaki Peña for me is a massive, massive, massive problem, and I think that's affecting the back line.
It's a big drop as well. Sorry. It's a big drop. Like it's not like Ter Stegen to Neto like was before. Like I can deal with Neto being in goal. He was like a decent. I can say okay.
Neto's problem was
Iñaki Peña
with the
to
ball
Ter
on his
Stegen.
feet.
Yeah, but like
Right?
at the end of the day, like for a game like this against Barbastros, like come on, Neto is more than good enough. He's an stellar goalkeeper now for Bournemouth in the Premier League. And what I mean is that the gap between Ter Stegen and Iñaki Peña is just way too big. Like it's way too big. We're talking about a world-class elite player who's fighting for literally the best in his position to a youngster who like probably had played max of 5 games before for Barcelona. Went on loan. Like his best performance was against Galatasaray against the former club in the Europa League.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. So Iñaki Peña's a problem. Style of play is a big problem. I think actually second half Las Palmas and today we stopped it a bit. But I don't know if you guys realise the last few weeks what we've done is we've done so much long ball. For me, I find that baffling. Like if you watch the game, we have a line of 4. I think it's actually say the back. So we've got Cancelo, Araujo, De Jong drops in, and Christensen. So that's the back 4. Balde joins the attack, and all the 3 midfielders join the attack in a line, and we just hoof it up the pitch for 45 minutes. We did that against Las Palmas. Incredible to watch. Honestly, I was like, and we did it against Almeria as well. That I think Xavi stopped that at half time at Las Palmas, but I was like, what's going on? We're evading the midfield at half time at Las Palmas. I think Sergio Roberto had 8 touches, Gundogan had 15 touches. Barcelona against Las Palmas with that many touches for their midfielders. It's like relegation side touches. What's going on?
But is that would then mean it's not a Xavi problem? Because it means because if Xavi stopped it, well, I mean, he could be the one instilling that to begin with. But if he stopped it, it means like, I'm not sure. That's the thing. Like right now, the problem is that I cannot go ahead and point it towards someone. That's an issue that I have right now. I really, with the bottom of my heart, I really do not know what the freak's going on with Barcelona.
You had a small list of things there a minute ago, and it is all of the above, right? Like some days we just can't finish. Some days nobody's moving off the ball. Some days the service is trash. Some days, for some reason, defensively, they're just not communicating. There's way too many gaps. Some days it's multiples of any of those, right? It's an and/or situation with those. We just can't. We have not found a stride all season long. We're halfway through now, and Barcelona have yet. I mean, what's our best 11?
Yeah.
You know
I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that because, like, what I mean is that you just think about the best teams in the world. I always say this, and I can come up with your 11. Right, I can name you the Manchester City 11 right now. I can name you the Bayern Munich 11 right now. I can name you if each of these teams were to play a final tomorrow, I can tell you the team that they're going to put out. Barcelona, I don't know that team, and the fact that we don't have consecutive games for many players, I feel that's some of the issues as you were talking about. Like you don't having the chemistry with the one next to you, you don't be able to talk. That's a huge problem, and that's something that bothers me for Xavi as well because right now. That's the one thing that I would tell the manager to do. Like, why can you just not play the same back line like 3 games in a row? What's the problem with that? That teams around the world do that. Like, it's not like, oh, you can rest. No, like, I mean, they're doing it. Pep does it. And like at least you can change one player from your team. Makes sense. But if you change one in attack, two in midfield, and then three defenders.
Yep. Yeah, how much of this, Pablo, I'm interested to get your thoughts. How much of this is Xavi trying to manage the players, trying to keep everybody happy, make sure everybody gets playing time, make sure everybody stays fresh, right? Because I know that injuries are consistently a problem, but trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody, meaning we're not finding that consistent 11 that is our go-to lineup.
Yeah, no, that is an issue. That is a problem, but I think it's also coming from the underperformers. I agree in terms of like keeping the same back four. I would start doing that. To be fair, we've got the perfect chance to do it now with Cancelo injured and Inigo Martinez injured. The defense picks itself. Again. It's just the back line from last season. It's undebatable, and that's what we're doing for the Supercopa, please, and for the next few games afterwards. So that's non-negotiable. But I think also you look at, like, for example, like Ferran Torres and João Felix today. Again, and again. So inconsistent. There's not actually any players in this team who can consistently perform, and that is a shame. We've had discussions about, do we buy João Felix? Is Ferran the guy to start? None of them perform consistently. Then you look at Lewandowski's drop-off, which is like a different player. Like, all the criticism of Rafinha, I know I say this a lot of podcasts, but he's the only bloke who consistently performs in attack. I swear. He's the only guy who consistently makes things happen. And by the way, when he went off today, what did Barcelona do? For half an hour against a fourth-tier side, did we actually sustain any attack? I couldn't count one.
So I am still very interested to see how Vitor Roque plays for Barcelona. He was on the pitch for 30 minutes, and I did not see Vitor Roque outside of one nice run, touch-on pass, didn't finish the opportunity one-on-one with the keeper. But I don't know what he's like on the ball. I don't know what his passing is like. There is something to his movement off the ball that is different, that causes a bit of havoc for the defense. He is finding himself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But no touches. Lewandowski, on what was it? Around the 64th minute, we had Felix, Vitor, Ferran. Nothing going on. 71st minute, Lewandowski comes on. It's Vitor, Lewandowski, Ferran. Nothing going on. But I don't. Here, let me pause. How much of it is because of the midfield, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the forwards.
Yeah.
We're talking about the end product. How much of it is because we had Frankie, Fermin, and Romeu, who, good God, he just keeps getting worse. Romeu in the midfield. Dude, I don't want to... low expectations, right? Low expectations.
Wow,
but my goodness, dude. Wow.
I'm sure he's a pretty nice guy.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I wish him well. What are you doing, my man?
We're laughing, and probably the three of us combined are worse than Romeu.
100%. This is one of those things. Like I'm sure there's a footballing version of this, but there was some video, you can find it on YouTube right now, of some people talking smack about this NBA player. He was this kind of like big, tall, dopey white guy, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's trash. But you got to think, he's still like in the top 100 and some people in the world playing this sport. So they took him and brought him in and played one-on-one with some people who thought that they were good, and he just smacked them down. So yes, it would be the exact same thing. Like Romeu could come to my rec league that I play on Friday nights, and he could play any position he wants, back to front, and be the best player, crush us, right? All those things. What are you doing when you're wearing the Barcelona kit? That is my question. I don't understand.
You do have to laugh. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but that's just another problem. Like, how can you fix this team when you make so many mistakes? Like now, the only thing that I know we need to do for next season is just sign permanently João Cancelo. That's it. Like, what do you do, Romeo? Just create another problem with yourself. You have to sell him. Then what? Like now they want to sell Christensen, and I'm like, but he was your best defender like a season ago. Like that's what I mean. There's no roadmap. There's no planning. They just keep changing for what they need at the moment. And for me, this is where I start to question, guys. What if we actually had someone like, remember somebody else that was in the elections that had a plan, apparently, allegedly.
You're going. Oof. You're going. Okay.
I'm going like, because let's be honest, like Laporta literally brought Joao Felix, and I like Joao Felix. Like I want him to work out. Like I want everybody to work out. I want Jeffren, who scored a goal against Real Madrid, the Venezuelan guy, to do well in Barcelona. But he so like I want everybody to do well. But what's talking about? Like you in this situation, like you bring Joao Felix, but Laporta, like plan. I need plan. I don't care. We suffered 2 years. Give me 1 year of good football. The next one, 2025. Right now. I feel there's a problem because we are trying to survive as we go, season by season, and I feel that that's a big problem. You need to think ahead of time. I'm not a football manager. I don't know how it works, but like it doesn't make any sense what they're doing at the moment.
I do get that. I do agree. And the Joao Felix signing literally did scream Laporta just saying like, "Hey, I know Mendes. He's available on loan. Let's do it." Like Xavi didn't want Felix, in the squad. It wasn't planned. And when you're signing someone like that, like on a deadline day deal, obviously it's like it can work, but it's not for a team like Barcelona. You should have everything planned and in order. But I will say that we are so limited though by like our finances. Like, how can you plan like a project and make all these like amazing signings with a budget of 3 million? We our hands are tied. No one spent less than us in the Champions League this season out of the 32 teams from the start. Like, it is ridiculous. And like the point about Romeo, like I have to laugh, else I'll cry with them honestly. It's just funny at this point. But like I was there, I was watching tonight. I was like, please do well, because you are the key for us being good again. If we have a CDM who comes in, a defensive midfielder to do well, and look at him. Look at him, man. Like giving the ball away so much. How poor does he look? And the downgrade from Busquets has been immense. And then when you factor in Pedri and Gavi being out, it's just you're right. You made the point about the midfield. It's a big thing.
But look, I don't want to be that guy. But if you put Romeo in that Girona team at the moment, he's balling. He's balling. I'm telling you, he's balling. He's cooking. Well, if you take Romeo to that Girona team, that's what I mean. Because that's a problem when everybody talks about like the manager and stuff like that. Like you look at a team like Girona and you just can simply go, okay, but what are they doing that we aren't? Because they got worse players. They have financially, okay, they're supported by Manchester City and their group and the City group. But like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, Jan Couto is not better than
salaries, right?
Yeah,
Girona to Barcelona, right? Barcelona, of course, are outspending Girona.
Yeah, so it's like, I think that if you there has to be a bigger issue here. Because that's what I mean. Like, if Michel, is that his name?
Yeah.
The manager from Girona. If Mikel, I guess, can manage Girona and get them to the top of the league, how they're now playing, blasting Barcelona, amazing. They blast Real Madrid last season. They beat Atletico Madrid. With the players that they have, there is really no excuse, because that's a problem that I have. No excuse. There's no excuse to be playing bad. You need to at least perform, try your best, and that's the one thing that I cannot see from Barcelona. I cannot see them trying their best. I don't feel we're getting the most juice out of this, squeezing this orange, this lemon. Am I just too right depressing?
It's not. Well, that's what it's not fun to watch Barcelona right now.
No,
you know what I mean. Like, if you are the casual footballing viewer and you're just watching the big matches during the week, how often are you tuning into Barcelona? You know what I mean? But like
the other day,
I
saw a stat, and Barcelona was still the most watched out of La Liga of all the fixtures.
I know, but I just. There's damn lies in statistics. You know what I mean? Like, who's making up those numbers? How do you know how many illegal streams there are going on for these matches? You know what I mean? Like, where are those numbers come from? I'm calling BS off of no other data. I feel like we could name
those numbers
10, a dozen other teams that are more exciting, more enjoyable to watch than Barcelona right now.
Yeah. We have regressed. The style of players regressed massively. You talk about the plan, and I wonder maybe because Xavi, now he's lost big players, is he tactically good enough? Obviously, that's the question that always comes up, isn't it? I think a big problem I've got is that with Xavi, surely we all expected good football, right? I mean, even last season, I think we probably took a bit of a compromise and said, okay, we'll take maybe playing a bit more 4-4-2 and 4 midfielders. And it wasn't incredible to watch at times. And we were somewhat defensively, but we said, hey, we're getting somewhere here. He's building, let him have that start. The drop-off in this season has been immense. For us to win a game by more than one goal, and it's always in the last minute. Like, you see the stat about how many games in La Liga we've been up in the 75th minute. I think it's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It is like, oh my God, and it's true. Like, when you guys want to watch the games, we are always scrambling in the last minute. It's always like dramatic.
Every time. You have to suffer. Every
game. Aren't we had something like we had the most missed chances in Europe, I think, so far this season.
And we have the most goals scored, I think, after first half. We're the team that have been going to the first half like in deficit. And then the team who has been able to get the most points out of that.
Oh, yeah, we've turned around a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of comebacks.
The thing, I wanted to put out this question. I think it would be a good exercise. And let me know if you're into it or not. But I think we should rank, like, watchable or entertaining, like, football of the previous Barcelona managers. So, like, Xavi, this team of Xavi, where does it go compared to Setien, Koeman, Valverde? Where would you rank that?
Oh,
because I would honestly rank Valverde top.
Yeah.
As most entertaining?
No, not most entertaining, but like the most effective team, like team-wise.
So here's
how good they play. How does Barça play?
Valverde did the most with the least. Like, if you look at Valverde's teams on paper, those are not the strongest teams, right?
I don't know. I disagree.
Compared to 2009, 2011, 2015.
Yeah,
Barcelona?
But I'm talking like Valverde to here. Since the downfall, since Bartomeu, since Luis Enrique, we don't call Luis Enrique.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about Valverde, Setien, Koeman, and Xavi.
Yeah, those 4.
Honestly,
rank them. Rank those teams.
Koeman, for me, had he been allowed to have his way, give free reign, I think would have been the most exciting football, because he was trying to implement that 3-5-2, and he was getting the best out of a patchwork Barcelona. But Laporta was like, "Look, do what you got to do for these couple of matches, but then we're playing a 4-3-3, make it work," and it didn't. So for me, I think let the comments come in, but I would actually I'd go for Koeman.
You go to Koeman top.
Koeman top.
Okay, you, Pablo.
I know you're getting out of Valverde there, but Valverde's Barcelona the most complete team, right? Should have won a treble, stormed La Liga in both seasons, won Copa del Rey, won a lot of games, and of course had the Messi factor. I think is what we can't forget. I think
horrendous UCL exits, but
did we did. That's true. But with like Xavi, we can't even get to that point.
But that's the thing. I think that Valverde, I was never,
team,
I was never really that much against Valverde. Like, I know that when I was making YouTube videos and everything, I like Valverde out, whatnot. But like, I really wasn't. Never felt as passionate as everybody else to kick him out the door, because it really wasn't his. I mean, the games that we lost in Europe, I think. Literally, the first 2 ones are the big ones that started the whole debacle. Roma and Liverpool are not his fault. Like, I'm not gonna. They're not his fault. Like, for me, it's not his fault. I wouldn't point. I think that's a capitulation from our players. Like, you're gonna have Jordi Alba crying in Anfield halfway through the halftime. Like, come on.
It was. Okay, I agree. It wasn't Valverde's fault.
It wasn't Valverde. Like, because literally we were at a point to win a treble both seasons.
Yeah.
So he took the team until the point where we can win a treble until those capitulations in UCL. And then we lost. Yeah. So that's not, for me, that's not really his fault. You can say anything you want about football, but that section is not problem of Valverde.
But I do think because of the way we were set up, we were more susceptible to that sort of defeat. Like, we do forget there were also a lot of games where, like, we didn't play well, we were hobbling, and then, like, Messi, Suarez, bang, all cracks covered. every crack covered. Like we would get hammered some games into Stegen and Piqué were blocking off the line. I was like, oh, and then Messi, bang, 2-0.
But that's not,
Good.
nowadays when we have
Pistolero.
what we have now. That's it. That is that
We
sounding
don't
so bad.
we don't have deadly finishers.
We don't have
That's
any
what
player in this level
don't have-
of Neymar, Suarez, and Messi. No one.
No,
just
we don't
Frankie.
have anybody
in
that
terms
when
of
they
how vital can they be.
think about there's nobody on Barcelona that you could name that when they get the ball in the final third, fear takes over the opponent. There's nobody. Nobody on Barcelona where they get the ball in the final third in open space and you go, oh shit. Nobody. You know what I mean?
No, Rafinha's the closest.
He's the closest.
But even him, like,
Rafinha to Lewandowski should be a match made in heaven. I don't understand why those two are not more on the same page, are not building that chemistry together. Like that to me is such a missed opportunity. Rafinha to Lewandowski.
Yeah. And it was working at the start. I think I remember Valladolid at home, was it? Those like looping Rafinha balls to the back post, the curlers that he does so often. But I think Lewandowski's an issue in it. Like his movement's changed. The way he's positioning has changed so much. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about something positive? I think I got something. Can we talk about Hector Fort?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a few. The La Masia
Yeah.
always strikes, isn't it?
mm-hmm.
Fort,
Yeah.
Fermin.
I mean,
Fermin,
I
think is
wanted I wanted to talk about Fermin, but let's talk about Ford first.
Well, quick note for Hector Fort then, and then we'll jump on to Fermin because I do want to talk about him as well. Hector Fort, typically right back, asked to play left back with Balde, Cancelo, and Alonso all out. Hector Fort got himself an assist. I thought it looked very comfortable out there. I think young man's got a future, left or right. And maybe he comes up and maybe it's a João Cancelo, Hector Fort, and Balde, because Balde can also play on the right. So if we have those three that can play both sides,
Yeah.
maybe our fullback situation is taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fullback situation is taken care of as well, actually. We got Julian Araujo still out on loan as well. He's had a good season at Las Palmas. And we got, is it
Serginho Dest,
Alex
of course.
Baye? I think that Levante's doing well.
I still have a shout that you're going to be like, what? But for me, I've always wanted to just keep Serginho Dest and play him as a left back.
Yeah, I kid
you
listen,
not. He's better as a left back. I kid you not.
His best football for Barca has been at left back. But
Yeah.
even I have
and for
to
the
admit that
USA as well, I
defensively-
remember.
Yeah, yes. But defensively, he is so frustrating in terms of the space that he allows. So I can't see Xavi even giving him another chance, to be honest. I think this loan out was really just to increase his value before he gets sold next season.
Yeah, and it has been.
Hopefully, I know, but I like him. He's playing good right now at PSV.
Yeah. All right. So Fermin then, and then we'll talk a little bit about Barcelona's
Yeah.
future, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, Supercopa.
Supercopa.
Oh,
For,
that's right.
Fermin Lopez, for me, might end up being better than Gavi and Pedri. I'm gonna shoot that shot because I think
That's a twisted take, bro.
bro. I think that Fermin is actually a more complete footballer, box to box, and is actually gonna produce more goals
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
than Pedri and Gavi season over season.
I see Fermin as someone who more probably. I think that if I had to rank them in order of who's going to be superstars, Gavi is going to be first in my opinion, then Fermin, and then Pedri, because I think that the injuries is so easy for injuries to destroy a career. Like Ansu Fati right now, where's he stuck at? Pedri's stock can easily fall down if we don't fix the injuries right now. Yeah. And Fermin is someone who's so unique in the way that he moves, the way that he just makes the runs into the box. I think he has that talent that he has that thing that Gavi and Pedri don't have. Gavi and Pedri are way more similar together, even though Gavi is like a terrier all around. Fermin is more like this shadow striker, I think. Like he's a midfielder, but also someone who can make these runs into the box and be super deadly.
Yeah. He's got a little Frank Lampard in him.
He does. I was going to say
he
that.
does. Or like a
He does.
Gerrard when he goes into the box as well.
No,
He has that
no.
thing. I was gonna say he also has that.
Paulo says that's too far.
I mean, Lampard is better than Gerrard. Lampard is better.
Oh wow, that is a twist to take. Well done.
My goodness.
Really? You don't think Lampard is better?
No, I do personally, but I'm a Chelsea fan. Look, everyone in this country says Gerrard. Eh?
No. I mean,
I think most people would say Gerrard. Yeah.
They would. They do. Unfortunately.
I mean, who won a Premier League and a Champions League? And Frank Lampard is like 8th in the top Premier League goal scorers, and he's like a midfielder. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Far better. Okay. Anyhow, Fermin Lopez. Like I feel he's just like more of a unique profile that will make him stand out from the crowd. That's what I think. Is that where you're going for, John? Like where you're coming from?
Well, yeah, like I think that he has that goal scorer's mentality. He's got that vision. Pedri for me is going to be the Iniesta of the group. He's not going to get the assists and the goals. He's going to be the one that beats the first man and opens everything up, shares it forward, and then the goals and assists happen. That's how I see Pedri.
He's going to do the run of Iniesta against PSG. That's the sort of Pedri thing he will do.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But either way, that's where I see that happening. Gavi, I would say, gets us closer to a goal-scoring midfielder, but there's something about Fermin where he a little Coutinho-esque even, he can turn players very quickly. He's got that long-distance shot. He's got a number of goals from outside the box now. So for me, it's a mentality thing, maybe more than anything else. But I think he's going to come in with those goals. Here's my question. Here's what I'm curious about. If everybody's healthy, where do you put Fermin in the depth chart right now? Just for midfielders.
In like for the season, for what?
Yeah, for the season. Like right now, if everybody's healthy, like Frankie's number one, right? Can we all agree
the team
that?
sheet. Yeah, first. Yeah. First name
Frankie's number one.
Frank
So let's take it just midfield though. Where does Fermin fall in the depth chart?
Well, unfortunately, he's at 5th, isn't he? Behind then Gavi, Pedri, and Gundogan.
The problem with Fermin is that he's more expendable than a Gavi and a Pedri. I think Gavi and Pedri are more vital to what Barcelona want to do. Like Gavi is huge for Barcelona.
Yeah.
That's
He'll be
a fact.
the face of Barcelona. Yeah.
Yes, because right now, remember when we had this discussion? Who was the face of Barcelona right now? And you instantly would think of Gavi, and he's freaking 19 years old, and he's the beating heart of this team. For me, he's the most vital. Then you can lose him. Pedri as well is really vital because he has that quick mind, and he's able to see those passes and vision. For me, is the one who, like I said, a bit more expendable. I could see him not having as much of a protagonism as to when you need a team to perform.
I've asked this question before, so I'm interested that you bring this up now. I'm going to ask it again. Is Fermin going to end up being the Thiago of this midfield group? The one that doesn't quite make it into the starting 11, and they'd be good enough to make it at any other club, and so they do. Because if you look at it right now, Frankie, Pedri, Gavi, is Fermin going to be patient?
There's a difference. We don't have money. Fourth? We don't have money to buy more midfielders. Like come next season, I don't think we need to bring any. I mean, we need to bring a CDM, but like we don't need to bring an interior. Like I don't think we need interiors for like the next 10 years.
No, but I also don't think Barcelona can realistically hold on to all of their La Masia talents that come up. But like there's a few that would be on the chopping block, I think. I mean, you saw a number of names that were on the bubble of making it up leave this summer. But how close are we to really cutting ties with an Ansu Fati or a Fermin or, I don't know. Maybe it stops there, but somebody, right? And the longer that Barcelona struggles financially, the more tempting I think it is to unload one of these prospects.
What here? We're talking about the future of Barca. I think this could be the best point we end. To what Johnny's saying, what would you prefer, guys? To like, because there certainly was rumors of like Bayern going for Araujo, right? Would you prefer to lose like one crucial player for like 100 million, or get rid of like 3 youngsters here and there? Because in reality, right now, when you put me into table, do you buy Joao Felix and keep Ansu Fati? I would keep Ansu Fati. I would.
Yeah.
I would keep Ansu
I would
Fati
keep
and,
Ansu
and
Fati
get
right
and,
now.
and not keep Felix. And not sign him. At the moment, if Felix like suddenly scores 10 goals, like okay, we can discuss that later. But like this is where I mean, like, can we afford to lose these players? It's like Paulo might resonate a little bit with this. It's like Chelsea right now if they sell Conor Gallagher. You know, like, can Chelsea afford to sell Conor Gallagher? I don't think so. Conor Gallagher is right now their best midfielder, and they spent like 200 million on like Enzo Fernandez and Cancelo, and right now they cannot afford to lose a player like that. You cannot. There are certain players that you cannot afford to lose because of how you're building or what the team should be or what. Look, I don't know how to say this, but just look at Chelsea, for example, when they sold Mason Mount. For me, it makes no sense. Like that's a player you cannot afford to lose, and I feel that for Barcelona, there are certain players like for instance, a Gavi, a Pedri, Fermin even, or like Ansu Fati and stuff like that. That's where you need to bet on, especially right now if you're having a low income and low inflow. So where would you go in terms of selling that big player or getting rid of some few youngsters here and there?
I always think, I don't know if it's the Chelsea mentality, but it's always better to sell 3 youngsters for 25 million each than the first teamer for 80 million. It's a bit cruel, but like, there's a chance they might be good. There's also a high chance they won't be, you know. But I don't see anyone in Barcelona like that, because I think like Gavi and Pedri are already too established, you know, to be like sold. They're not going to be sold for that cheap, you know. But if you're saying like to sell like Hector Fort and Fermin, if we were to get 50 million for that, like, it's sad because they're both players who I think could go on to be good for Barcelona, but because we haven't seen them yet, it's almost like we're happy to let them go. But I mean, with Firmino, I think just on this season, what a chance he's got to make sure he doesn't go, by the way, because, and it's not only his focus, I think he needs to be played more. And for me, he should start the Supercopa against Osasuna on Thursday. I'd play him next to Gundogan and De Jong, I would. But what a chance he's got with Gavi's injury and Pedri always injured and the midfield not being secure. And you're right, John, he has something different to the team. His goal scoring from midfield is huge. I think he should be setting himself targets for goals this season. I genuinely think he could be in at the top 3 scorers for Barcelona this season. Fermin Lopez, that was a crazy thing to say, really, isn't it? When you look, if you were to say that at the start. But he genuinely can, with the way he arrives in the box and the way he can strike from outside the box. Just need to see more of it from him.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
I'm looking at Barcelona's roster, and I'm looking at at who would be the one player if you were going to sell somebody for a lump sum, and that is a short list, right? Gavi, Pedri are untouchable for me. Frankie de Jong is untouchable for me. I know a lot of people still, just because of his salary right now, say that he should be the one that gets cashed out. That's not even possible for me. If I was going to be wild, right? I'm not saying this is what Barcelona should do, but if I was coming in and I'm, swinging the axe, I'm selling Lewandowski, I'm selling Rafinha, and I might sell Ferran Torres. And I will take all of that money and reset the pieces that I need to reset. I would buy myself a CDM first.
Yeah.
Because I'm selling Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Ferran. That's what I said, right? So I'm bringing in a CDM and then somebody that can score goals. I don't care how they do it. Somebody who is a clinical finisher. Bring me Luke de Jong if you have to. But that's what I would want. I think I would then bank the rest of that money. Mm-hmm. But that is admittedly if I was coming in and doing crazy things. I'm not saying that's what we should do.
Yeah. For me, like, going back to where we're talking about like the roadmap, which is crazy now at the point. Like when we brought Koundé, Rafinha, and Christensen, those are players that are 26, 27. They're about to enter their peak. And for me, the problem is that when you brought them in, even like a Kessie or Kessie, you brought him in, I was like, okay, these players this season, bang, we won the league. Amazing. Look at that. Like, these players are performing in their peak. Let's build on that. What the hell happened? That's what I mean. Why are we not building on from that? These players that at the moment we bought them all like at a moment where they are just about to reach their peak. They've all played good football around their careers. Let's take it to the next level. For me, it's perfect. I was in love with that transfer window.
Yeah, did we talk about the age gaps on this podcast already? I feel like we did in the last episode, maybe. There's only 2, 3, 4 players that are in Buga, to your point, the prime age of their career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's who was it? Frankie,
Koundé.
Rafinha, Christensen, Koundé, and Araujo is entering that, and João Cancelo is at the end of that.
Yeah. So everybody else, right? The majority of our players are early in their career or just past their prime. I'm not saying that any of these players like Gundogan or Lewandowski are over the hill by any means, but they're not in their peak performance, you know. So I don't know. That's one of the problems, but
that's a problem.
It's all the above.
We weren't building on that. For me, that we haven't built from what we did last season. And honestly, what was the problem? Was there any issue in just keeping the squad as it was? Literally, imagine if we kept the squad as it was, we introduce someone like a Fermi Lopez, you bring Gundogan as a free, you bring João Cancelo in alone, perfect.
This is where I think the business of football messed up Barcelona. You can't just come in with the same squad, because then you're missing out on kit sales, you're missing out on endorsements, you're missing out on social media engagement, all this stuff, by bringing in a João Felix, by bringing in a João Cancelo, by whatever, right? So Barcelona does have a heavy influence from marketing, branding, publicity in terms of how the business is run, how the organization is run, and then what the result is on the pitch.
And there are a few things we need to do. We lost Jordi Alba and Busquets and Dembélé, of course, as well, that we haven't properly replaced either, by the way. So yeah, you know, there were things that still did need to be done and ultimately weren't done properly, other than João Cancelo already.
Yeah.
All right. Supercopa coming up. This podcast is going to be coming out on Monday. Supercopa is on Thursday. We got Osasuna. Is this a one-off or is this a two-leg? This is a one-off, isn't it?
Yeah, and by the way, if we beat Osasuna, final will be on Sunday just before we record. So by the time the next podcast we meet up for the next pod, the winner of the Supercopa will be out. So I suppose the question is, do you think Barcelona will be Supercopa champions?
Great question. To wrap us up, let us know if you're out there listening. We want to hear from you. Give us maybe a prediction. If Barcelona are going to be champions, are we going to get past Osasuna? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Again, like, subscribe, share, do all the things. We are back. 2024 is going to be a big year for Más que un Podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. I think that's all of it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Anything to wrap us up, boys?
The predictions. I want to know what you think.
Do
our
you guys think?
predictions.
Yeah.
I think Osasuna might beat us.
Yeah, no,
Barcelona
genuinely.
can get through Osasuna. Yeah, I think it's fair. I think Barcelona can beat Osasuna. I think that Real Madrid smash us if we reach the final. And Atletico Madrid, I don't know, João Felix scores. I don't care. Atletico Madrid have like a curse against us. But the thing that I was going to say is that I feel losing to Osasuna would do us worse damage than losing that final. Like, no. Sorry, I meant less. Like, yeah, less. Losing to Osasuna, it would be less damage than losing the final.
Yes. If we're not going to be champions, I would rather lose to Osasuna than lose to Real Madrid in the final. Because that's what
to have the players think that they can win it based on merit, it's like a joke. Like, no, it has to be like an April's Fool joke. Like, You know what I mean? Like if they win this and then they go, oh yeah, we're good enough, and this and that, I'm not sure if we win it. I can take it and we can see if it builds from there. But if it does the opposite and brings you down, it's like I think a bigger stain on what we can do for the rest of the season. Hopefully, it makes sense.
I think it would lift us up, though. I will say that. I do think if we win the Supercopa here, that would mean beating Osasuna and then probably winning a Clásico in a final. That has to lift this team.
But if you lose it,
Trophy's a trophy.
Yeah. No, if we lose it, yeah. What I will say is that I worry about Osasuna in the semis. I'm going to say that. I think they're going to be hungry, very hungry. I do think in a final against Real Madrid, I think we'd step up. I think we play considerably better than we've seen in recent weeks. I will say that. Whether we win it or lose it, I'm not sure. But I think we'd step up our game in a Clásico final.
okay, Pablo, you convinced me Barcelona to win the Supercopa.
Wow.
All right, well, we'll see. Barcelona football up ahead. Mosqueun podcast up ahead. We will see y'all next week. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace.